Okay, so I felt inspired to play with a little bit of audio reflection while I'm sitting down here by the creek. So, just sharing a little bit of my own process and the messages that have been coming through for myself lately. Yesterday, I made a post on my social media about honoring rhythms and cycles, and I had been feeling out of tune with myself and not really honoring my own energy and exertion of it. I've learned over the years, having been through burnout and depletion, that I have to learn how to pay attention to the signals of my body because I wasn't always very good at that. I was really, as a creative, somebody who considers herself spiritual, oftentimes my ideas and my creativity and my energy were moving in one direction, but I wasn't always listening to where my body was. And I had a default of not paying attention to the signals that my body was giving me till I ended up in the hospital or severe adrenal fatigue or extremes of getting trampled by one of my horses. And the takeaway that I got from those episodes was I really needed to factor in my body, and not all parts of me are on the same pace. And I think one of the things that I notice at times is I'm not always, I hadn't been in the past always aware of what signals my body was communicating to me because I just wasn't tuning in there. And one of the things that I've learned from my horses and being in watching a herd of how they really honor their cycles. You know, they eat when they want to eat, they rest when they rest. As a prey animal, they have to be super efficient with their bodies and with their energy. Sorry, just their energy, their body and their energy, because they need it for survival. And I think as human beings, even though we're not prey, it is costly to us to not pay attention to the messages that we're getting, not just in our mental capacity or energy, but also in our physical. And so one of the things that I have adapted or learned is I have to listen to all parts of me that are communicating to me. And so the last couple days I've been really noticing it physically and mentally. I've been feeling a little bit worn out, a little depleted, a little irritable, and now I pay attention to those. Whereas before, I wouldn't. I would just kind of bypass that and keep trucking along and keep working and not listening. And so I've learned the consequence and the price of not paying attention to the messages that my system is giving me ends up in burnout. And that is something that is a very common affliction in the work that I do with my clients. It's one of the core things that we often address at. And one of the things that helps us move away from that cycle is really paying attention and tuning in. And so I'm a big believer in ritual and practice. Part of my own ritual every day, and this is I'm adding to this, is to really take a moment and tune in of how am I feeling emotionally, spiritually, physically. What are the needs of my systems, and how do I honor those rhythms and cycles of my own energy without pushing past them or neglecting a part of me. And I think the thing that I really learned is that I have to listen to where my mind is, where my body is, and where my spirit is. And sometimes they're not on the same page. Sometimes my body needs the rest, and my spirit and my mind doesn't. But I have to give it to all parts of myself, because we have to honor all parts of ourselves, because we occupy all parts of ourselves. So I'm really taking that message in, and I think anytime we get a message, one of the inquiries then become, how do we honor and take this wisdom forward? And so for me, it's just taking a space to really listen and spend time with, what does my system need right now? How do I honor my energy? There was a piece that I felt about kind of bringing my energy in. I do a lot of exertion because of my work, and I'm a creator, so there's a lot of energy going out. So how do I bring it in a little bit more? Whether that's meditation, being in nature, taking some time out around social media, not putting pressure on myself to be present beyond what I have capacity for right now. And then the other piece of that too is really paying attention to what does my body need. So I've learned like nutrition is a big thing for me. What does my body want to ingest? What feels supportive? And then listening to that, because I know when I listen to that, I have greater capacity. So the thing too, sometimes when we get a message, and then to listen to it, but I think sometimes taking that action is hard for us because we stay resistant in our own patterns. And so one of the things that I really come down to is I don't like not feeling good. You know, I'm not a happy human when I feel depleted. I don't have capacity to serve the way that's important to me. So when I listen to these messages and I honor my rhythms and I honor my cycles and I honor my body, I have greater capacity. I'm a happier human. I feel more clear. I have more energy to serve. I'm more creative. I don't worry as much, you know. I have a bit of a better handle on my own fears and insecurities. So that helps me make that connection point to why is it important for me to tend to these parts of me, because I don't want to be in my old pattern because it doesn't feel good. And I think sometimes we just have to offer that perspective to ourselves. So if this is resonating for you in any capacity or degree, I would offer, you know, really take that in. How do I listen and how do I better honor what messages my system and my energy and my body are giving me? How can I honor those messages? Where am I not honoring those messages? What can I do today and in this moment to support where I'm feeling off balance or off kilter? What does it look like to integrate a check-in with myself every day so I'm on top of it? What are the signs and signals that I can start to recognize when they're first happening that let me know something is off? Whether it's being irritable or, you know, starting to be tired or foggy. What does it look like for me to honor this every day in my practice? And so part of where I have ritual every day is so I can check in with myself and I know how I'm feeling. So I'm not just kind of going through my day-to-day without doing a check-in. So let me know where that resonates for you. I kind of did this while facing. So I'm down at the creek right now because I find nature holds that space for me. So it's a beautiful landscape. After I record this video, I'm actually going to be taking time to just be present and feel into myself a little bit and recharge so I can start my day from a much more grounded and centered place. So there you go. Let me know where that resonates for you.